New poll numbers show 1/4 of Americans strongly approve of President Trump's performance. These numbers come from a study by NBC News and SurveyMonkey. Nationally, 43% approve of the president's performance, while 55% disapprove. Now, in the southern states, President Trump fares a bit better, with 48% approval and 51% disapproval. So we want to know what you think. Do you approve of the way President Trump is handling his job? You can weigh in right now at WBIR.com/vote or in the WBIR app. And while you do, we want to take a closer look now at how Tennesseans stack up in everything from presidential approval to immigration. So for that, NBC News Director of Elections, John Lipinski, joins us from New York City with a better breakdown. John, thanks for being with us. What did Tennesseans have to say?
Yeah, so Tennessee is an interesting state. We polled the South in general, but we also did a specific poll in Tennessee. And what we see in Tennessee is on some issues, they're a little bit different than the South as a whole. For example, when we look at approval of President Trump, Tennesseans have one of the strongest approval ratings of the president. It stands at a 56% approval rating. And so, I mean, I think that bodes well for President Trump in the state of Tennessee. The question, though, does it bode well for Republicans in the 2018 midterms? And so that was one of the things that we dove into. And again, when we actually look at things like we asked people that took our survey, who would they vote for the House of Representatives if the elections of the 2018 elections were today? And in Tennessee, the number is very different than the nation. It's a +17 for the Republicans in Tennessee versus a +6 for the Democrats. What I think that translates into is that the Republicans have great hope of winning the South overall, but in places like Tennessee, they need to do very well if they want to control the House of Representatives. I think that's going to, and also just control Congress overall. Also, the polls you had said dove into a lot of social issues, and in that, when we look at those social issues, there's not as strong or stark differences when we look at people from Tennessee versus the South and even the nation as a whole. What we've seen is there's been some moderation on some of those issues.
Let's talk about, getting specifically into those. Gun control. Where is Tennessee specifically? How are they playing out in that hot topic issue?
Yeah, the focus when we actually look at issues like gun control, and we also look at other issues. I mean, some of the other hot topics like immigration. That's one where we dove into a little deeper. Is that Tennesseans are a little maybe we would say a little more conservative on issues like that when we talk about how immigrants in this country that do not have legal status would be treated, but they're not as different as you might have expected. I think one of the things that's interesting when we look at a state like Tennessee, I think a lot of people have different views on what these overall numbers will show. But again, it was one of these issues that was just there wasn't as much of stark differences as we would expect. We also asked on same-sex marriage. That was, as you wanted to talk about social issues. And there, Tennesseans are a little bit more conservative as the nation of the whole. But that's an issue that's really split. Even in Tennessee, where you might think that people might be a little bit more socially conservative. They are, but again, there's not huge, stark differences.
These numbers broken down specifically for Tennessee. John, thank you so much for your time and the information. We appreciate it.
Thank you.